Hello, this is Simple Math for you, and our lesson today is Proving Lines Parallel. أهلا بكم في Simple Math for you، ودرس اليوم هو إثبات أن الخطوط متوازية. And we are going to do that when you know relations between angles that we have studied in lesson 12.7, which is parallel lines and angles, or angles when the lines are parallel. Let's see here, what do we mean by proving lines parallel? Corresponding angles are congruent when the lines cut by the transversal are parallel. The converse of this relationship is also true. احنا درسنا بالأول إن الزوايا المتناظرة تكون متساوية متطابقة إذا الخطوط كانت parallel، قطعت بقاطع معين. فالزوايا المتناظرة مثلا this and this angle are corresponding angles. Remember, like letter F, they are congruent if the lines were parallel. Now, what will we study? We will study the converse, العكس. Converse of corresponding angles theorem states that if two lines, يعني عندنا two lines already, cut by a transversal, this is the transversal, so that it was cut in a way that the corresponding angles are congruent. يعني we know مثلا that angle 1 and 3 are congruent. As you look here, this and that angle 1 and angle 3 are in a position of corresponding angles. والزاوية متناظرة. And it is given that they are congruent. متساويات. This and that are congruent. So this now the conclusion will be that the lines are parallel. So that's why we call it the converse of corresponding angle theorem, because we know now that the angles are congruent and we need to prove that the lines are parallel. So we will do whatever we have done before in the opposite way. Let's continue. If given a line and a point not on the line and a point not on the line, then there exists exactly one line through this point that is parallel to the given line. And this is common sense. One line only can pass here in such a way that it is passing through this point and parallel to the given line. Okay. Parallel lines that are cut by a transversal create several pairs of congruent angles. These special angles pair can be used to prove that the lines are parallel. As we said about corresponding angles, we will do the same procedure for alternate interior angle, exterior angles, and consecutive interior angles. So if two lines in a plane are cut by a transversal so that the pair of alternate exterior angles, يعني for example this and that are alternate exterior angles. If you know that they are congruent, then the lines are parallel. For example, for this sketch, angle 1 and angle 5 are exterior angles. If angle 1 and angle 5 are congruent, which is stated here, then lines A and B are parallel. Consecutive interior angles, remember consecutive interior angles, we were not talking about congruence, we were talking about supplementary. يعني we will remember إذا تتذكر أن اللاينز أن الخطوط إذا كانت parallel and cut by a transversal, then 2 and 3 consecutive interior angles were supplementary. Same side interior angles كانوا supplementary مجموعهم 180. هلا رح نسوي العكس. If you know that they are supplementary, يعني if you know that the measure of angle 6 and angle 7 together, their sum is 180, then definitely lines A and B are parallel. Also, if you know that 2 and 3, the sum of them is 180, they're supplementary, then the lines A and B are parallel. Alternate interior angles theorem. Now let's look here. What are the alternate interior angles before we have studied? Alternate interior angles, remember, it looks like Z letter, something like this. So this is 2 and 6. Also, Z in the opposite way. Yani, for example, this and that are alternate interior angles. So if angle 2 and angle 6 were alternate interior angles and they were congruent, yani if angle 2 is congruent to angle 6, and this is the position they are, then the lines A and B are parallel. Also, if 3 and 7 are congruent. They are already, as you see, alternate interior angles. So according to the converse of alternate interior angle theorem, we can state that A is parallel to B. And here, so it's easy as you have here noticed. If two lines in a plane, two lines are perpendicular to the same line. So this line and this line together, this was perpendicular to the same line, اللي هو هذا. As you see, the only conclusion we can say that this line is parallel to that. So the lines are parallel. Common sense. Let's check here our understanding. Use the given information to determine which lines, if any, are parallel. State the postulate or theorem that justifies your answer. Now, it's given here that angle 1 is congruent to angle 15. Let's highlight angle 1 and angle 15. Let's check. Is there any relation between them, between angle 1 and angle 15? Are they sharing the transversal, for example, so that we know that they are alternate? For example, some might say that they are alternate exterior angle. Actually, alternate exterior angles, you can say that this and that are alternate exterior angles because they are lying on this transversal. Also, 9 and 15 are alternate exterior angles. Yes, but for the angles 1 and 15, is there any transversal that the angles are sharing? No. So we cannot conclude anything. It's not possible to determine whether the lines are parallel or not. The information is not enough. Okay, let's see B. B says that angle 3 plus angle 10 are supplementary. Their sum is 180. So let's see what is the transversal they are sharing. They are sharing this transversal. They are both on this transversal. على هذا الخط. And this transversal cuts this line and this line. So these angles look like U-shape, inner shape, and they are consecutive interior angles or same side interior angles. They should be, if the lines are parallel, they should have a sum of 180. And he said that the sum is 180. So are the lines parallel? Yes. Which lines are parallel? Lines are parallel. Yes, because of consecutive. So we can say consecutive interior angles converse. So converse of consecutive interior angles. So what are the lines that are parallel? Are they lines L and M or N and K? Now remember the transversal was L. So we are talking about lines N is parallel to K. Okay, let's see here. See, angle 3 is congruent to angle 5. Let's erase this and check angle 3 and angle 5. As you see, both of them are on this transversal that cuts this line and this line. And the position they are located look like the Z, alternate interior angles. It was mentioned in the question that they are congruent. So they are congruent and in a position of alternate interior angle. So what are the lines that are parallel here? طبعا exclude the transversal اللي هم واقفين عليه. They are on N. So line M and L are parallel. So we will use A or B. But what is the theory that we will depend on? It is, of course, alternate interior angles, converse of alternate interior angles. I think now the objective of the lesson is clear. Use the given information to determine which lines, if any, are parallel. Set the postulate or theorem that justifies your answer. Let's check angle. Question 1, 3 and 7 are congruent. So this is 3, this is 7. Hint, show the transversal. They are located on transversal L. They are looking like the Z, which is alternate interior angle. So accordingly, lines A and B are parallel, A is parallel to B according to alternate interior angles converse. العكس لأنه we are using that the lines parallel. Questions. Question 2. 9, angle 9 and angle 11. They are both on this transversal. This transversal cuts these lines. So it might be A is parallel to B, but why? Is there any position for them corresponding alternate interior? Yes, they look like, as you see, letter F. So they are corresponding. That means line A is parallel to line B according to corresponding angle converse or postulate. So postulate of converse angle. Okay, you can refer to the postulate. Angle 2 and angle 16. Let's go back. Angle 2 is congruent to angle 16. Again, this is the transversal. Transversal A is cutting line A and line M. So it might be line L parallel to M if they were in the proper position. Are they? Yes. 2 and 16 are alternate exterior angles. So we can say alternate exterior angles converse. Or postulate or theory of alternate exterior angle, converse of alternate exterior angle theorem. And the lines that we are looking for, if angle 2 as angle 6 located on transversal A, that means L is parallel to M. Finally here, angle 5, angle 12 are supplementary. Let's check. Are they in the right position? Angle 5 and angle 12. They are located on this transversal. And this transversal is cutting those lines. As you see, they are in the position of consecutive interior angles or same side interior angles. So yes, so all consecutive interior angle converse. So the lines parallel are L is parallel to M as well. Given the following information, determine which lines is the same question, but now a little bit different way of lines. Angle 1 and angle 6. To avoid mistakes, directly put the transversal. They are on this line. So angle 1 is this one. Angle 6 is this one. So it looks like F. صح? Looks like this. This is angle 1 and angle 6. This line is G. This line is H. So yes, G is parallel to H due to the corresponding angle postulate converse يعني. Okay. Now go to angle 6 and 7. This is angle 6 and angle 7. Directly they are located on this transversal. Transversal is H. So this is angle 6. This is angle 7. They are located in such a way that they are same side interior angles, or we can say they are consecutive interior angles converse. According to the converse, what are the lines that are parallel? Line P is parallel to line Q. Great. Now we will do two measures, which is easy. Find the value of X so that M is parallel to N. So if you want M to be parallel to N, look carefully at these angles. This angle and that angle are located in such a way that they are corresponding. So if you want M to be parallel to N, then 6x minus 3 should be equal to 2x plus 1. Based on what postulate? He wants the postulate. The postulate or theorem is converse of corresponding angles. And we will solve the equation. So 6x minus 2x is 3 plus 1. 4x is 4. That means x is 1 if you divide by 4, of course. So x is 1. And here we will write this statement, converse of corresponding angles. Find angle of measure of angle LMN. LMN is this one, which is given as an expression for x plus 6. Let's try to find a relation between this angle and any other angle. We have two choices. You can either use that this and that are forming a linear pair irrespective of the lines parallel or not parallel, but since he mentioned that the lines are parallel, that means if this and that, if the lines are parallel, then these angles are located in a way that they are alternate exterior angles. So if A is parallel to B, then these alternate exterior angles should be congruent, and that means 9x minus 12 should be equal to 4x plus 6. And we will solve this equation. 9x minus 4x is 12 plus 6. 5x is 18, dividing by 5. 18 by 5, divided by 5. We need to replace later. So this is 3.6. This is what? Don't choose this. He's not asking for x. He is asking for the measure. So you need to replace measure of the angle is 4x plus 6. 4 times 3.6. That's why you need to read the question carefully. 3.6 by 4, then plus 6. The answer is 20.4. And that's why the answer is B. If possible, is it possible to prove that the support poles of the antenna complex are parallel? Justify your answer. Now, let's check here the lines written here. This is the first line. This is the second line. There is a given angle here, 120, here 54. As you see here, the angles look like consecutive interior angles. They should be supplementary. Yani they should have a sum of 180. So if this is 120, this should be 60. That means that you cannot prove that the lines are parallel, no, because the consecutive interior angles are not supplementary. Simply, we have used the converse of consecutive interior angle theorem. Find the value of x so that L is parallel to M. So if you have L and M to be parallel, as you see, this will be the transversal cutting these lines. As you see, these angles look like U, so consecutive interior angles. That means their sum should be 180. 180. So what will you do? You will solve 2x plus 136 is 180. 2x is 180 minus 136. So 180 minus 136 is 44. Divide by 2. So x is 22. This is x, and this is the required value. Here, what is the position of the angle we have here and that they are on this transversal cutting lines L and M. 2. For the lines L, M to be parallel, then 4x minus 10 should equal to 3x plus 10 using converse of alternate exterior angles theorem. For this one, which theory we have used? Converse of consecutive interior angles theorem. And we will solve 4x minus 3x is 10 plus 10. X is 20. سهلة, easy. Now for this line L to be parallel to M, let's look at the relation between these. As you see, they are alternate interior angle, متبادلة. شوفي هاي الزوايا هون كانت مش متبادلة، كانت الزوايا خارجية وعلى جهتين مختلفتين من القاطع. أما هذه الزاوية كانت شو؟ داخلية وعلى جهة واحدة من القاطع. هذه المتبادلة حرف الزد. They should be congruent. So 6x plus 4 is equal to 8x minus 8. 6x minus 8x should equal to minus 8 minus 4. And you know how to solve now. X is 6. Okay, what about this? Are they equal? Should this angle be equal? There is no theory showing that, by the way. They are not congruent. The angle congruent to that one is this one. This should be congruent to that one because of the corresponding angle theorem. صح؟ يعني corresponding angle, this and that. But those angles are not congruent. So we will put this as 7x plus 5 and we will try to find a relation between these angles. And as you see, they are both lying on the same line. So 7x plus 5 plus the other angle should equal to 180. So we have used here two theories. For this is the corresponding angles are congruent. And then here, this is linear pair theorem. And as you see, linear pair theorem does not depend that the lines are parallel or not. Any two angles lying on a line adjacent to each other, forming a line, the sum is 180. يعني they are supplementary. So 7x plus 5x, 12x. 5 plus 19 is 24. 12x is 180 minus 24, which is 156, dividing by 12, and this will give us 13. Okay, what about this question? Can we find a direct relation between this angle and that one? Actually, no. This angle is alternate interior angle with that one. So this is 25 using alternate interior angle theorem. And similar to what we have done now, these angles form a line. So linear pair, we can say 7x plus 15 plus the 25 is equal to 180. So 7x plus 40 equals 180. 7x is 180 minus 40 and dividing, so x is 20. Easy questions. Let's check our understanding. Last example. Each orange book, the orange book is this one, make 70 degrees angle with the base of the shelf. What more can you say about these two orange books? As you see here, these orange books form corresponding angles and they are congruent. So that means the orange books are parallel because of the converse of corresponding angles postulate. عكس النظرية، يعني احنا شفناهم متساويتان وهم في وضع تناظر، إذن الخطوط كانت متوازية في السابق. وبهذا نكون قد أنهينا وأنجزنا هذا الدرس الجميل اللطيف. That's the end of this lesson. Thank you all.